Hi everybody, so we finished chapter 14 yesterday, and that was all about what happened on Friday on Jed's birthday. And Maggie found out that Jed and Lindy were both scared to go to camp, something that she hadn't thought about really. And Lindy had shared that she was frightened of dying when she went to camp. So we're going to start chapter 15 and go all the way through to chapter 16 and stop before we get to 17 because they're quite short chapters today. So this is everything that happens on Saturday the 6th of September. Here, Jed unstrapped Grandad Cruise's watch from his wrist. Can't take it with me. He passed it to me, and I held it to my ear. Tick, 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 tick. Steady as you like. I'll look after it, I said, till you get back. Jed did one of his half smiles. Trig, you can have everything else. He pushed open his bedroom door. Whatever you want. He wasn't allowed to take much to camp. Just a few clothes and his billy lamp. That was all. Trig didn't go in. He started bobbing. He'd be jogging on the spot soon. Treat it well, though. Jed gave Trig a mock punch in the arm. Or you'll be for it when I get home. He didn't laugh, though. Not even a smile. He wasn't coming back. Not to stay, not for a visit, not for anything. He wasn't coming back any more than Mum's sister Lil was. I started bobbing too. Just like Trig. Got to get out of here. Got to get out. I ran downstairs, out of the back door, into the garden. The air was thicker than ever. The neck of my t-shirt was already soaked with sweat. Hope Elsie was right about the weather. She said it was going to change. It had to rain. It couldn't carry on like this. I wrapped Grandad Cruise's watch around my wrist and did up on the smallest fitting. It was loose, but not so loose it'd fall off. I touched its glassy face. Maggie? Mum stood in the doorway. Mum, who's been lying to me this whole time, letting me think Jed'd be coming home. Maggie? Are you all right? Leave me alone. Oh, Maggie, I know how you must. You lied about camp. She frowned. Lied? Jed's not coming home, is he? Not ever. Mum's face crumpled. Maggie, you lied about Aunt Lil. We had to, Maggie. It's part of the edict. We had to keep the war quiet. We have to look after the eldest. We have to make sure Dad, too. Both of you lied. What's going on? Trig. He hooked himself under Mum's arm and snugged himself in. What's Maggie talking about, Mum? What are you talking about, Maggie? Mum looked right at me. Her eyes bulged with tears. Don't tell Trig. Don't tell Trig. Nothing. I rubbed the old battered watch strap. It was soft between my fingers. I'm not talking about anything. I pushed past them back to the house. We're just trying to keep you safe, Maggie. Mum hugged Trig to her. You and Trig. I thundered up the stairs and dived onto my bed. Jed was going to fight so I could stay safe. And he wasn't ever coming home. And the wanderers were out there, keeping their own eldest close. And what was I doing? Maggie Midler, messing about at the boundary with a Wandery girl, singing songs, wiggling ears, stealing food. I pressed my Grandad's watch against my cheek, cool and smooth. If I keep it with me forever, I'll never forget about Jed. The mayor had her gramophone going in front of her house. She always did when anyone went to camp. Lyle Parker was keeping it steady on its trolley, winding it up when it ran down. It coughed and stuttered and sent scratchy music across the square. Me and Trig covered our ears. Mum and Dad squeezed our shoulders. I shook them off. The whole rest of the town, groggy from the heat and the home brew last night, stood silent around us. Jed and Lindy came out with the mayor. They each had their billy lamp in one hand and a small bag in the other. The mayor stood herself between them. She gave Lyle a nod. He took the old sock out from under the gramophone and stuffed it into the trumpet, quietening the music. What can I say about these brave young eldists? The mayor's voice carried right across the square. Nothing perhaps that you don't already know, but I've been talking to their parents and their teachers. The mayor went on. Talked about the time Jed got his head stuck in the railings up at the Crescent and old man Parker got him out with carbolic soap. And about how Lindy used to sit on her dad's lap in the tractor, pretending to do the steering while he ploughed up the wheat fields. Jed banged his billy lamp against his leg. Lindy held up hers completely still and fixed a smile to her face. Closed lips, high cheeks, feet together. I don't want to be here. I don't want to watch them get into the mayor's jeep and be driven away. Dad squeezed my shoulders again. Mum was right next to him, squeezing Triggs. I wriggled loose. These two eldest will be an invaluable asset to camp. Some of Mayor Anderson's hair had fallen out of her ponytail like bits of old string. So, before they depart for glory, could we all join together in the morning chant? The whole town stood straight and proud, lifted their voices. Our eldest are heroes, our eldest are special, our eldest are brave. Shame upon any who holds back an eldest, and shame upon their kin. Most of all, shame upon the wanderers. Let peace settle over the quiet war, truly and forever. They really are heroes, and special, and brave. It felt true and good to say the chant. Truer and gooder than it had ever felt before. It was true and good that I was going to be painting portraits of eldests. The mayor mouthed something to Neil Parker. He dodged round the side of the house. After this, I'd go straight to the cemetery. Find Una. Shame upon the wanderers. I'd carry on with my plan to hand her in. It was the right thing to do. I touched Grandad Cruise's watch, its curved, smooth edges. Turrut, turrut, turrut. The sound of the mayor's jeep choking into life. It chugged around the corner, into sight, Neil in the driver's seat. Jed held out his hand to Lindy. She grabbed it and they climbed in together. My body lurched forwards. My dad pulled me back. Don't go, Jed, don't go. Lyle took the sock out of the trumpet and gave the gramophone a good wind-up. The music screeched. Trig covered his ears. Lindy's face, still neat, still proper, still bruised, stared from the back window. Mrs. Chowdhury cried out. The crowd wrapped itself around her, hushing her down. Dad's grip hardened on my shoulders. The music swung round the sides of the square. Neil got out of the jeep and held the door open for the mayor. She lifted a solemn palm to us and climbed in. Neil gave the jeep's roof a couple of goodbye smacks. Thwack, thwack. Churrut. Black smoke belched from the back. As they drove off, Jed wrapped an arm around Lindy. I'm sure he did. I'm sure. The crowd murmured and shuffled and loosened. Mrs. Chowdhury sobbed. Mum took hold of Trig's hand. Our eldest are heroes, she said. Let's go home. I squirmed out of Dad's grip. I'm not coming. It's the end of chapter 15. Chapter 16. I ran, faster and faster and faster. My brother was gone, and he wasn't coming back. I ran down Frog Alley, past the caravans. Stupid Jed. He drove me mad with his braveness and his specialness and being an eldest. Over the ridges, across the fields, faster and faster. I was going to miss him so much my chest was tearing into two with the whole pain of it. Up to the cemetery, faster and faster. My brother was gone. He wasn't coming back. I had to find out where Una was living. I had to find evidence. I had to do something, anything. I hated wanderers. Shame upon the wanderers. I hated Una. Shame upon Una. I collapsed under the tree on William Whittington. Sweat ran off my hair and behind my ears. I tried to tighten the strap on Grandad Cruise's watch. My tears dropped onto its round face. No clanking from Mr. Gebbie. The dead relatives were silent too. Only the crickets were still singing. I waited and waited. I lay down on William Whittington and cried huge, loud, chest-heaving sobs. Sticky sunshine leaked through the leaves. I waited 2 hours, 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Grandad Cruise's watch doesn't lie. It's as steady as a cart horse. Hey, Maggie, Maggie! It was Una, climbing through the hawthorn. My tears had dried up. My chest had stopped heaving. I was calm. Act normal, Maggie. Act normal. You okay? She said. You've been crying. You have. You've been crying. What's wrong, Maggie? What is it? Nothing, I said. I'm fine. No, you're not. I can tell, Maggie. What's wrong? It's nothing. But the tears brimmed up in my eyes again. You wouldn't understand. Oh no, try me. She sat her dirty, deceitful wanderer self down right next to me. My brother's gone away, that's all. A tear escaped from the inside corner of my eye and rolled down the side of my nose. You haven't got a brother. You wouldn't understand. I edged away from her so our legs wouldn't touch. I plucked at the overgrown grass so I didn't have to look at her. I did have a brother, so I do understand. Kind of, anyway. I stopped picking at the grass. I looked up. You had a brother? Yes, he went to camp. Is that where your brother's gone? Do they still have camp? I was only a baby when mine went, so I don't miss him. Well, not like you're missing yours. She had a brother that went to camp. What? I said. How? Felix, his name was. He was much older than me, but you don't want to hear about all that when you're feeling so bad, Maggie. She was lying. She must be lying. Wanderers don't send their eldest to camp. Tell you what, she said. Come through the boundary again, properly this time. Come and meet my dad. It won't bring your brother back, but we've got a clear can to filter water and a fire hole to heat it up. I dug a really good one this time. Hardly makes any smoke at all. I can make you a cup of tea, and tea's good when you're feeling bad, especially tea made like my granddad taught me. Come on, Maggie. I'll get you back to your hawthorn hedge before anyone even notices you're gone. Felix? Camp? Lies. My head was so heavy and tired and full of tears, but I should go. Find out where she lives. Get some evidence. I pulled up the bottom of my t-shirt and rubbed my eyes dry, swallowed down the crying. All right, then. I made my face into a smile. A cup of tea would be great. So Maggie's said that she's going to go beyond the boundary and find out where Una's living. I wonder how that will go for Maggie. She's feeling a bit sad at the minute, and she's decided that she hates Una and she's a dirty, dangerous, deceitful wanderer. So I wonder what's going to happen next.